Thomas and the Guard is the 11th episode of Thomas and Friends, and this is the first time that we get a proper close-up look at Annie and Clarabelle, which I think is adorable. For me, in my kind of memory, Thomas always had Annie and Clarabelle. I now realise that that wasn't the case. And I also didn't know that Annie was just for passengers, whereas Clarabelle's for passengers and luggage and the guard. So actually, I learned something. The narrative is all about being patient, because Thomas is fed up of having to wait for Henry's train. He's got to wait for Henry's train before he can pull out of the station. And the guard blows his whistle, signalling that it's time to get ready to go. But Thomas rushes out of the station, accidentally leaving the guard behind. And of course this causes all kinds of problems because he can't read certain signals and the guard's not there to tell him what happens. The message there, of course, is be patient and wait for your turn. With regards to how it's filmed, obviously very well filmed, some great angles for the trains, great facial expressions. Really, I've never realised how they do the eye movements. It's only just occurred to me that I don't know how they make the eyes move. And that's something that I want to find more about. There's some really terrible stop motion of the guard. And the guard just kind of, this is a spoiler I guess, but the guard just kind of magically appears on the railway track. And then a second later he's a couple of steps forward, and it's definitely terrible. But in a way that feels warm and fuzzy and nostalgic watching it now. But there is this brilliant close-up of the guard's face where he's looking all hot and sweaty, and it genuinely looks like this little figurine, this little character, has been running. So despite the terrible stop motion there, the actual close-up of the guard I thought was pretty fabulous. So it definitely made me smile. I was rather impressed with how they managed to make this little figure look like he was hot and sweating. Obviously a really important message about being patient and trying to not get disgruntled when somebody else is a little bit slow. Really nice proper look at Annie and Clarabelle for once, and some questionable camera work, but some really good stuff there as well too.